In the following video, you will learn how to find resources through the library for your Theater 101 costume design assignment. We're currently looking at the library's website. From here, we're going to go to the LibGuide for Theater 101 costume design assignment. Scroll down on the library's website and locate the LibGuides tab. In the drop-down menu, scroll to the bottom and find the first Theater 101 LibGuide for costume design. Then click Go. You'll navigate your way around on the guide by using the tabs in the center of the screen. We're going to jump over right now to the eBooks tab and show you the first resource you'll want to use for this assignment. The resource is called Gale eBooks. We're going to do a search in Gale eBooks for flappers. What we receive are results about flappers from a variety of different ebooks. The nice thing about Gale eBooks is you're not required to read the entire ebook, only the section on the topic that you're searching for. So for example, this entry on flappers comes out of the Encyclopedia of Clothing and Fashion. You don't have to read that entire book, just the 2-page entry on the topic that you searched for. And each of these other items are set up in the exact same way. We'll click on the first one so you can see what the results will look like. If you find something through the library that you think will be helpful, there are 2 things you'll want to look for. Number 1, there'll always be a button that says something like email, send, share, etc. It's from here that you can go in and email this item to yourself so you don't have to go back and find it again in the future. The other thing you'll want to know is that library resources do come pre-cited, so if citing your sources, you can click on the Cite button and see a variety of suggested citation styles, including MLA. The next resource we're going to look at is also on the eBooks tab, and it's called Credo Reference. Credo Reference is set up just like the Gale eBooks that we just looked at a moment ago, where you get entries out of ebooks about the topic that you searched for. So if I do a search for beatniks, I'll get a results page like this of 225 items where I can read the entry about the topic that I searched for out of a specific book. And again, when you find something that looks good, there will always be a button that you can click on to get the citation, as well as to share it with yourself via email. Lastly, still on this eBooks tab, you'll find EBSCO eBook Collection and eBook Central. These are the 2 largest ebook providers our library offers. And with these, you're not actually looking at entries out of ebooks about your topic. With these, you're looking at full ebooks. For example, if we go into EBSCO eBook Collection, we could do a search for goth and fashion, and we have 8 full books that match those 2 search terms. So for example, this book looks good, The Evolution of Goth Culture. Whereas you may not have time to read an entire ebook, what you may want to do is open up the table of contents and see if there's a chapter or 2 that look like they would be helpful to you, as this wouldn't be as much reading. For example, Chapter 4, The Origin of the Goths, and Chapter 11, Goth as a Fashion Choice, would probably be good ones if this was your topic. Going back up to the top of the guide, we're now going to go over to the Databases tab. Databases give you entries that were originally published in things like magazines, newspapers, journals. Sometimes you'll find some books, as well as some scholarly videos, but for the most part, think along the lines of finding articles. On the Databases tab, the items that you'll probably want to consider searching are the Academic OneFile and Academic Search Premier databases. These are labeled as best bets because they're the two largest databases that our library offers, meaning they have the most articles. For example, if I went into Academic OneFile, I could do a search like this. Punk and 80s and clothing. And every result that comes back is going to include all of those search terms. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to get a variety of different results, like journal articles, magazine articles, and so on down the line. Click on any of those categories, and then you can take a look through and see if any of these articles would be helpful to you or not. For example, this article might be a good one about the punk fashion movement. Below those two databases that we just highlighted, you will also find the library's English Composition and Literature databases. These are great databases to get overviews of works of literature. So, since The Wiz is based on a play, you may want to search for The Wiz in here to get an overview of the play itself. These three at the top are also labeled as best bets and would be the ones that we would recommend first. Lastly, over here on the left-hand side, you have the library's history databases. Since the fashion styles you're researching fall in history, you may want to consider searching in one of these. The best one is probably the U.S. History database. Here you can see a search for hippies returns all of these different types of results. You may want to note that one of the results, in addition to the magazines and journals and newspaper articles, etc., is images. You may be able to find an image that you could use in any presentation from this link here. Going back up to the top of your LibGuide, on the Multimedia tab, you're going to find a few things. First, you'll find Films on Demand and Kanopy. These are the library's two streaming video providers of academic videos. You might be able to find a video that talks about the fashion style that you're researching. Here you can see a search for grunge brings up all of these different videos that you can see here, including this one on the origins of the grunge movement, which might be helpful. The other thing that you'll find on the Multimedia tab is a link to the full-length version of The Wiz. And just like any of the library's resources, be it our ebook collections or our databases, access to this film will require your login information from MyHGTC. We're now going to go over to the Images tab. It's from here that you can find images that might be useful to you in a presentation. One of the first boxes that you'll encounter on this tab is the Google Image Search box. While you may be familiar with searching for images in Google, there are a few features that you're maybe not aware of. When you do a search in Google and click on the Images link, it brings up only that, Images. The feature that you may not be aware of is through this link here where it says Tools. If you click on Tools, you have the ability to limit your results by a number of different things. For example, you can limit by the size of the image. When you take a smaller image and expand it in a presentation, it can often look distorted. So one of the things that you may want to consider is limiting yourself to only large images. Another thing that may be of interest to you is color. You may want to specifically dress a character in a certain color. So if you wanted a certain character to only be wearing blue, you could check that link there, and now as you can see, all of your results that come up are in a blue shade. Another thing that you'll find on the Images tab is this link here, which includes copyright-free image websites. These are 5 different websites that give you high-quality images that are copyright-free and could be used in any presentation. They're all great, and Pixabay is among the best here. Similar to Google, after you conduct a search in Pixabay, there are limiters here at the top. You can choose whether the image is horizontal or vertical. You can specify a specific size that you want it to be, and you can limit by the color. Please do note that if you do want to use any of the things that you find in Pixabay, you do need to set up a free account in order to use this website. When you click Join, sign up using any email address. Your school one will work perfectly fine. There is no cost for this website. You just have to set up a free account in order for them to provide you with access to any images that you find. Additionally, on this tab, you'll find the Wiz Image Galleries. These are websites that give you still images or pictures of the cast from the Wiz. Finally, at the bottom, if you are unsure of how to crop images with using Windows, this box here can help explain that to you. If you have access to photo editing software, by all means use that instead. But if all you have are the basic programs that come loaded to a laptop, some of the steps that you see in this box will be helpful to you. Finally, if you need any help, go down to the Get Help tab of your LibGuide and you can find all the various methods for contacting the library, be it via email, live chat, phone, or text. We also welcome in-person students at any time that we are open, and you can find those hours by clicking on the links here. Thanks for watching.